How easy is it for you to let go of of control? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today in this episode. You're listening to Ariana Rollins, and this is Mindful Manifesting. So before we dive in, if you haven't listened to Phase 1, Episode 180, and Phase 2, Episode 181 of the Manifesting Success Roadmap, I highly recommend starting there. This is a journey, and each phase builds on the last. Trust me, it'll make Phase 3 even more powerful for you. Now, let's get into it. So this phase is where you begin to trust the process. You've reached a turning point. You're realizing that what you've been doing hasn't been working, and you're genuinely ready to learn a new way to ask for help and hence create better results. Now, maybe you don't think of manifesting as asking for help, but it absolutely is, because otherwise we could do it on our own. We're getting the support from the universe, source, quantum field, the vortex, God, however you want to use that term, however you think about it. So here's what this Phase 3 looks like from the inside. You're stepping into the beginning of what maybe we call the manifestation zone. We start by painting the pictures of the changes you want to make, and you hold that picture loosely. No forcing, no white knuckling the outcome. You're beginning to open yourself to support. A word of caution here. Trying to micromanage the outcome or force a timeline can propel you right back to Phase 2, because this phase is asking something different of you. It asks you to lead with openness. Some synchronicities are going to start to show up. Life will be giving you little winks, but you're also still experiencing at this phase, Phase 3, which is kind of the middle phase, a little bit of negativity or doubt. Completely normal. You're in the foundation stage of conscious manifesting. You're done accepting the status quo, which was Phase 1. You're open to new experiences. Phase 2, you know what you want. And here's the most important thing to understand as you enter Phase 3. You're manifesting all the time, every single breathing moment of your life. The question is never whether you're manifesting. The question is whether you're doing it consciously, in the direction you actually want to go. Here's what's happening in your brain during this phase and why it matters. Every time you repeat a thought like, this isn't working, or nothing ever goes my way, your brain strengthens the neural pathway for doubt. Those pathways become faster, more automatic, more by default. But here's the empowering flip side. When you consciously choose a new thought, like, I'm choosing to trust my next step. I'm choosing, okay? We don't want to say I'm trusting because we may not, but we're going to choose, okay? It gives us honesty. We're going to choose. Or something good is coming my way. One of my phrases I really like is, life has a way of working out for me. And I can gather evidence of that. Life has a way of working out for me. And then by doing this, you begin physically rewiring your brain for trust. This isn't just positive thinking. This is neuroscience. For any of you who've listened to my other episodes, you know I'm a geek on Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations. I have gone to his advanced retreat. I've gone to his progressive when he was in Austin back in 2017, read all of his books, and I meditate daily. So neuroscience is something that's real, something that I've observed and learned. Now, this phase for you is about practicing that shift, one conscious thought at a time. So if you find yourself thinking a negative thought, maybe ask yourself, is this loving to me? Is this loving? And if it's not loving, switch channels. Okay, here's action item number 1. Check your mindset. Are you in negative manifesting mode? Most of us are not going to be aware of it because that's happening at the unconscious mind level, which is where kind of sweet spot of my work is, to actually identify what is going on at that level. and retraining it deeper, more permanently, so that instead of trying to catch our thought, we actually are rewiring it and changing it at the root level. So when something unforeseen happens, what do? Maybe something challenging happens. Do you dwell on it? I'd like you to start to notice how long that mood lasts. And as you're in that mood, observe how your life flows or doesn't flow. Because here's the thing, when you're stuck in that energy, you're actually going to be attracting more little challenges. I've done this. So check yourself when you notice you're doubting yourself or what you're trying to manifest or the path it's going to get you, or when you're trying to grab control back and force an outcome. Are you doing, this is a couple things you can observe. Are you obsessively reviewing your progress? Maybe like weighing yourself daily, checking your bank balance or program enrollments compulsively, refreshing your inbox or messages, waiting for someone to respond, waiting for a potential client to book in with a discovery call for you. Now, these behaviors might appear like due diligence. You're running your business and your life wisely. But here's a subtle thing that you may have missed. But what these behaviors are actually doing is communicating to your unconscious mind that you're not trusting the path you're on. You're not trusting the process. And that breaks down the harmonious relationship between thinking and creating. Because here's the thing, is your brain is powerful. There's a conscious creator in there. It's your prefrontal cortex. When you choose to focus on something, it can be unstoppable unless your body's not in agreement, not in alignment, it's not harmoniously supporting your path, and then the body, the storehouse of your unconscious mind, can wreak all kind of havoc on it, which is why that harmony is super important. That alignment is super important. I'm going to give you a resource when we get to the end of the episode that I think you'll really like to support you if that's resonating for you. So to think it is to cause it. Let that one land. To think it is to cause it. So the real question is, what are your repetitive thoughts causing for you right now? I'm not asking you to be perfect. Oh my gosh, have I had a repetitive thought since the beginning of the year? And I was like, wait a minute, Ariana, you know what you're focusing on is going to grow. And so I kind of reined myself in. I did a couple of the exercises that I teach in the highest potential. And I'm noticing I'm not thinking that thought anymore. Yay, go me. But I tell you, I was doing it for 6 weeks, maybe a month. It wasn't good. So this doesn't mean bypassing real emotions or pretending everything's fine. Tough things happen to all of us. And feeling down sometimes is part of being human. The real question isn't whether you have those down moments, it's how long do you stay there. Holding a negative mindset as your default setting is the single biggest barrier to manifesting what you want. Here's a quick reset tool you can use in the moment. When you catch yourself in a doubt spiral, maybe place your hand on your heart. If it feels good, you can take a few deep breaths, and say out loud or whisper to yourself, I trust that good things are coming to me. Life has a way of taking care of me. Maybe you could say something, I release what I can't control. That doesn't work for me because I like to control. Try something. Make it work for you. You know what? It sounds simple, and it is, but it's a pattern interrupt. Tony Robbins is the master of that. And done consciously, this one practice can begin to interrupt the automatic doubt response and create space for a new pattern. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, action item number 2, watch your triggers and reframe them. Your triggers are not enemies. They're actually just signposts. They show you exactly where your old patterns are still running the show. They're showing you where your unconscious mind is manifesting for you. They're very powerful, very helpful, because then you can change it. You can't change that which you don't know about, that you're unaware. When you've noticed you've slipped into a negative expectation, future pacing negatively, your job isn't to fight the feeling, it's to gently reframe it. Here's what this can look like in practice. Old thought. Gosh, new clients never find me. I just always got to be putting myself out there on socials and marketing, and I'm clearly not of interest, not a priority. What if you considered reframing that thought? Maybe people have a lot on their plate right now. Maybe I should do a few more IG stories or Facebook Lives. Because when you start to move into positive action, then that has you've neutralized it, because you are now taking the steering wheel back and your unconscious mind is no longer directing your actions. Notice the reframe doesn't deny reality. Yeah, maybe people aren't reaching out, but it does redirect your focus toward an outcome you actually want. And most importantly, give you some ideas to actually move things forward, because things don't change unless we bring them into action. We don't often magically have something what we want, knock on our door and get deposited on our doorstep. Usually we've got to open the door, at least, to get it. Oh, that's a funny one. All right. So a long-term shift that you might notice if you are aligned with reframing your triggers and actually doing something like one of my favorite exercises, the past perception revision process. The deeper work of this phase is learning to recognize and clear the underlying patterns that are held at the unconscious mind level that keep triggering the same behaviors. And as you continue up-leveling your mindset, the goal is to move from reacting to your past, repeating history, to genuinely looking forward to a new future, tuning into infinite possibilities, even if you don't know how you're going to get there. That shift doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen with consistency, with intentional practice, but it all begins with awareness. So maybe I would call this, this phase awareness. Awareness of when we're dropping into control. Awareness of when we are letting our history dictate our future. Because that's a sucky place to be. It's not fun. And we do it all the time. But we need to catch it, don't we? Catch that little thing, that little bugger in its negative minding act. And then gently love on it, reframe it. So success benchmark in phase 3 is how, let me go into how you'll know you've mastered this phase. Now, it's not like perfect. We're going to stay in phase 3 all the time. We're going to switch back to phase 2, maybe phase 1, and then we move back into phase 2 as our center of gravity. And then over time, maybe our center of gravity is phase 3. Well, here's how you'll know it is working. You'll still have tough days, things that don't go well. That's life. That's not going to go away. But instead of being swept away by them, you catch yourself. You recognize the thinking that's getting you there. You recognize the feeling and the pattern. You'll know it's just, that's the program. That's my unconscious mind reminding me that life doesn't always go my way. And most importantly, you'll have the tools to reset. I'm sharing a few tools in each one of these phases, but believe me, I've got so many more tools in my toolbox. I'd love to share them with you. Mindful Achiever, my book on Amazon, is a great way to get started, and also my programs. But we digress. Let's get back to this episode. Think about those tools as giving you a remote control to your inner world. You're switching channels. You can't always control what's on the screen, right? You might get a commercial, but you always have the power to switch channels. That's what this phase builds, the muscle to choose your channel even on difficult days. So, as we start to wrap up, remember you're manifesting all the time, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not. This phase is your invitation to stop leaving that power on autopilot and start using it with intentionality. If you're ready to go deeper with a structured step-by-step guide to moving through each of these phases, you can grab my book, Mindful Achiever, on Amazon. It's not laid out in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. That came after I wrote the book, but it is packed with tools, techniques, insights to help you grow your self-awareness and move forward on what you want to manifest with clarity and confidence. What's the opposite of doubt? Confidence, certainty, and that's what the book will help you to do. I'll put the link in the show notes. And I want to hear from you. What's one trigger you're committing to reframe this week? If you want to send me a DM, love to see it. Comment. And if you want to send me an email, if you're listening to this you're on my newsletter. In fact, if you're not on my newsletter, please opt in at mindfulachiever.com. I send a newsletter out maybe a couple times a month. I'm not going to blow up your inbox, but they're useful tips, useful things to help bolster your journey, your confidence, your certainty that you're on the right path. Or switch paths. Sometimes we need to do that too. All right. Until next time, when you chart your own path, you control your path to success. I did not say that right. If you guys have heard the episodes before, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm so in the present moment. I really enjoyed recording this episode for you. I hope it gives you insight and it moves you forward. All right. So much love. Thank you so much for listening. I'm very grateful to be in your ears today. Bye for now.